Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a very non-bingo-y rack, but I may be able to score enough to justify not changing. I would certainly be looking to split up the duplicate Y. I think I'll struggle to play both of them, but a play of joy may score enough. Now Twank may take a Y. I can check that. We're playing Void Challenge. Yes, it does. So I could play Joy and Twanky. The rack leaves pretty grim. So do I have something better? Nothing goes in front of the K, so I can't really play above Twanky. What about through the N? What about through the A? I've only got one vowel. Can't see a way of scoring well there, so I think I'll play Joy for 30 points, which is quite a decent score. And the rack's improved dramatically. There may not be a bingo here, but this is a pretty balanced rack. And I should be able to leave a decent rack leave and score well. A play of Jim, for example, would leave A, D, E, R, which is pretty good. However, is there a bingo here? There could be. I can't see a 7. Wow, great start for my opponent, who now leads by 70 points. I've got quite a few floaters to consider. I can't see anything with T or the W. G and M don't go well together. Okay, so I can't see a bingo with this rack. And I can't see anywhere for Jim. I could play Jeremy, but that's leaving a vowel-heavy rack leave. £23 points. Not great, although ADE is vowel-heavy, A and D are good vowels. And there are a few floating consonants on the board with the T and the D. J takes an A after it, so do I have a 6-letter play ending A something? Can't see such a play. What about a play down from the E? So I could play Yeed. 36 points, which is pretty good. GMR, terrible rack leave. But it's stopping my opponent from scoring easily, I think. Tricky rack. What about playing in column 12? I don't have anything which goes in front of or goes after S, so it would begin next to T. Okay, can't see anything great there. I could play gyrated, and I'm inclined to, because score's good, 32 points, it's not blocking the board down, and it's not leaving a bad rack leave. Pretty grim. That's the danger of turning over a lot of tiles. You're drawing 6 random tiles. These are randomly bad. Croc is good, but there's nowhere obvious to play that. Column 8 quite hot at the bottom through the Y. I may have something there. A couple of duplicates and 4 scoring tiles. Ideally, I would only have 1 and only 1 vowel, so there's a lot wrong with this rack. But I'm still in touch with my opponent. I'm only 40 points behind. I think Compa is good. Through the E, that would sort the rack out. I can check that. Compa is good. It doesn't score hugely well, but my priority is sorting this rack out because it's very unbalanced as it stands. That would be blocked if my opponent played through the Y, beginning 1 square above. I'm just wondering if there was a better play than gyrated. But I think if I'd played Yeed, I would have scored the same and kept GMR. And I think retaining just M is better than GMR. Wow! Great start for my opponent. Another bingo, 76 points. And he's left open the compass spot, but I probably ought to consider what he's provided. I don't like keeping 2 C's. Well, I've got compa down here now for much more. 45 points and a decent rack leave. And an okay pickup. Not great on the vowel front. But there could be a bingo here. Through a Y, I would have lyricist. I'm a bingo behind. Now, what about this floating E in unnested? That looks like it may go well with this rack. Can't see a bingo with it. Through EA, I would have realistic. Nice score for my opponent. He's left the E alone, which is good. But I'm 100 points behind. And I'd like to keep the board open. And I'd quite like to open the top of the board. Just wondering if I have a play down the middle column ending on the T. Can't see such a play. Joy is blocking the top of the board because I don't have a tile to go next to the J. I don't want to block this E. So I'm drawn towards a play in row N. My I can go in front of the T. So, well, this is what I'm thinking of. It's pretty volatile. Licit takes an E in front, but this does sort the rack out, and it keeps the E of unnested available. And RS quite a good rack leave. Quite nice. I've got the X for score, and the rest of the rack is balanced, so I should be able to play the X and have a good rack leave. So I've got Ox, Joe and Ox. I don't think there's a bingo with this rack. Anorexias through E and A. Triaxons beginning with a T, not ending. Great, only 26 points for my opponent. That's excellent. Now, do I have anything through this E? I don't think so. Wow, I thought for a moment I had Vox, but Ol isn't good. It certainly would be nice to play off just OX. Reigns is quite a nice 5-letter rack leave. I'd like to keep this E available. I don't have an E on my rack, and this is quite open, so it's a useful floater for a bingo, and I am behind. So what about playing Ox? How open is this? The score is good, 31 points. My opponent could easily score 40 or 50 or more. Still 3 O's to come for Oxo. 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 3 O's to come for Ox But if he can't score well in column 15, he may accept a low score to block it, which would leave open the E. This rack plus an E is excellent. I'm going with this. Or am I? Is there a 6-letter play ending OX? No, I'm going with this. That's a bad pickup, a duplicate and a Z. Just wondering if I have Sarrazin through an A, but no A available. I really was hoping to bingo through this E with the rack leave of Reigns. Great, my opponent's only scored 20 points, and he's left the E alone. So, 90 points behind, but still 36 tiles to come. I certainly need to play off the 2 tiles I've picked up, R and Z. Rez kills the E and doesn't score very much, so I don't like that. Riz is taking out a useful floater, or useful-ish floater in the I, and arguably the C, but it's getting rid of the 2 problem tiles and leaving the E alone. And the T is pretty useful as well, both for parallel plays in G and I, and rows G and I and down from column 8. So, Riz for 24. I duplicate both tiles on my rack, or 2 of the tiles on my rack. However, well, I was going to wonder if there was a play through the E, but that's been taken out. What about the T? Can't see anything. And now I have no scoring tiles and I'm 100 points behind. And the board's starting to look a little blocked. All of the lanes, the bingo lanes, revolve around the T of Twanky, and that could be taken out by my opponent next go. Still 1 blank to come. Now, last time I played off just the 2 problem tiles. But the trouble I have is that this time those 2 duplicates are just 1-pointers. And I'm 100 points behind. Do I wreck the rack and play Reigns? Only 21 points? I don't think so, since Reigns as a rack leave is, I think, going to be worth 15 or 16 points. Yagi is good, but then I can't play the N. Tricky situation. I was thinking about playing Arna, but it takes front hooks, and I don't want to gift my opponent an easy way of scoring 30 points. Just wondering if I've got to play down from the K. Well, I've got Kin, but that's keeping duplicate A. Not great. 10 minutes on my clock. So, what about playing Anne here? It sorts the rack out and it opens up a new bingo lane in row J, which is going to worry my opponent. And since there are no double word squares or triple word squares in row J, if my opponent blocks it without a bingo, he won't be scoring very much. Anne for 10. And I'm opening up a new lane in column 6 as well. I draw Q and V. Good stuff. So this fishing exercise not going well. Q and V are dreadful tiles. However, with the Q, I've got the I on my rack and the N. So I could play Chins and Sajo. 37 points. That's worth looking at, keeping Rav. That stays available. Opponent changes. That was a little unexpected. Now, is chins the best I can do? Is there any higher scoring spot? It's 37 points. I can play chi or chin elsewhere. I could play chi and it. But I think I like the score. For chins, 37. Pretty good. I have picked Taverna from the bag, and that goes in rows G and I. Do I have anything through the I or N? Great, my Taverna spot remains available. Not so great, 39 points for my opponent. I'm not sure what the best position is for Taverna. As in row G or row I. But I think I'll play it here for 64 points. Just pausing in case I have something in column 8 down onto the T. Taverna plus a T? Don't think so. And that's a good pickup. That looks pretty close to a bingo. I'm 20 points behind. And there are quite a few floaters thanks to my last play. But no bingo has jumped to mind. Although the A and the E both look tempting. I've got the IER ending and the ED ending. Well, what about the T? Can't see anything with that. Well, this is quite annoying because this is pretty close to a bingo and it would be nice to have back-to-back bingos. But I don't think I have got one with this rack. Just looking again at the E, not seeing anything. And no scoring tiles. I could play die, did, and in. Wow! Nice bingo for my opponent. So he's re-established his bingo lead and there's only 9 tiles left. And they don't look massively bingo-y. No blanks there, only 2 E's. And there's still 2 U's and a W to come. Now, my opponent's provided some new floaters, so maybe I could come straight back with a bingo. Can't see anything with the A. What about the B? Bylander good. Bird line? Nope, it's bird lime. What about the S? 7 minutes on my clock. Can't see anything. So what about the O? Nope. What about the L? TA takes an I in front. No, okay, pretty disappointing. 9 tiles left. Tempting to play DI because it doesn't block any of the floaters in Absolute and Taverna. 15 points, and it vaguely keeps me within a bingo of my opponent. Only 1 L and no N's to come and 1 R, so I think this is quite a good rack leave. It's not going to be plagued with duplicates. What about the V? I didn't consider that. I hope I'm not missing a bingo here. Die for 15. Not great. The F, not a bingo-y tile, and the E duplicating. But But I've got quite a few floaters to consider. 7 tiles in the bag. Not seen anything. Great, opponent doesn't block too much. I've got life as a compound element of a word. 3 tiles in the bag, so if I play off EF, I'm leaving 1 in the bag. But I'd like to score with EF because I'm 90 points behind. Just wondering if there are any 2-letter sets to consider. I guess TA and OB. Okay, so where to play off EF? Well, I guess here for 26 points. That's better than I was expecting. And I pick up 2 U's. However, I have unrulier onto the R. Probably not enough. It doesn't get doubled, but it's nice to have a candidate bingo. It could be blocked. I think my opponent's likely to consider the E to be the most dangerous, especially as it's part of a double-double lane. And if he blocks the E, he'll probably be blocking the R as well. I don't think I have a second bingo with this rack. So what to do if unrulier is blocked? My E can go next to the F, so I could play... Wow, it's not, and my opponent's emptied the bag. I think he's going to outrun me though. But it's still nice to get a bingo down. Unrulier for 62. And that ends the game. And the final score, 416 to me, 437 to my opponent, a winning margin of 21 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He played Twank. Now, Jim, G13. Ah, well, Jim and Twanky. Okay. Quite nice, keeping the J with the O. Instead, I played Joy for the same score, keeping a worse rack lead. So I think Jim would have been a better play. Nice rack for my opponent. He has unnested. And now, I played Gyrated in this spot for 32. Idrad, N10. Yeah, Idrad has merit. It's a better rack leave. It's a slightly better score, but it is opening up row O, so it's more dangerous than Gyrated, so probably not terribly much in that. Great rack for my opponent. He has good time. And I'm able to come back with Compa for 45, so I'm a bingo behind. Opponent's rack, he plays Tabai. And I play Licit, which looks fine. Horrible rack for my opponent. He plays V. Now, what did I do here? F14? Yeah, I played F14 Ox for 31. And I think that's best. Horrible rack for my opponent. So now I'm 90 points behind. I think I enter a stage of retaining reins and not drawing well. So this was my rack. I play Riz for 24, keeping reins. And I think that's fine. I could have got 19 more points, but reins is 19 more points better than R, I think. A12. Yeah, and in any event, Nazir's is opening up row A, so I think Riz is fine. Opponent's not got a good rack, but he does well and takes out a floating E. This is my rack. Rashi, interesting, burns the S. And I play just AN for 10. But I'm keeping a good rack leave and I'm opening the bingo lane, so I like that. Horrible rack for my opponent. He changes. I've drawn Q and V and I played chins for the score. So at this point I'm 50 points behind, but my opponent's change has worked out for him. He's got a ton of bingos and plays Fid for 39, but he's retaining the blank, so he's in good shape. I have Taverna and nothing else, but do I play? Ah, wow, look at that. It's playable at J2, making nag and any. Interesting. So I lost 10 points there. And now my opponent's got a ton of bingos and he finds one of them. Now this is a critical point. I'm 90 points behind, 9 tiles in the bag. I've bingoed and drawn this rack. Do I have a bingo? No, I don't. And look at these rack leaves. Horrendous. So I played DI for 15 and I still like that. Opponent's rack, he plays Loto. Again, no bingo. A14 Fen. Yeah, maybe that would have been worth considering, a good score. I play FE for 26, only 8 fewer points, so not much between those. Not a nice rack for my opponent. He plays Peg, and I go out with Unrulier. So, an interesting game. I struggled in the middle of that. I was close to a bingo, but the bingo never matured. And my opponent did well. He was able to get some early bingos down with unnested and good time. And then when he had problem racks in the middle of the game, he was sufficiently far ahead that he could work his way through them and still prevail at the end of the game. So, well played again to my opponent. And I hope you enjoyed that. And I will see you next time.